chapel in the fields in Dunham, Massey, Cheshire. It's a Methodist church that was repurposed 8 years ago as a space for people to explore spirituality through arts and crafts.
The chapel was renovated by the Reverend Kevin Johnson, a woodworker who dedicated himself to transforming this once derelict house of God into a place where he now uses crafting in service of his Methodist ministry. Before we get to work with the crafters, Kevin's invited me into the chapel for a chat.
Come in. What a great space.
It's lovely, isn't it?
So, Kevin, how did the workshop ministry first come about?
I've served as a minister for 31 years, but 9.5 years ago, I had a feeling about the next appointment. And as a woodworker, felt God was calling me into a different ministry in a chapel or a church that might be suitable for renovation.
Yeah, and that's what brought you here to this amazing church.
Yeah. For me, bringing the woodworker and the minister together and exercising a sort of ministry of who I really am has been, I think, quite powerful to me in the sense of, that's God's call.
Kevin uses the workshop to offer outreach and support for people who are struggling with loneliness and depression in the local area.
What sort of impact have you had on the people who have come here?
I could never have imagined what has happened in the 8 years here, the stories, the encounters, the people, the sense of the chapel being a place, a safe place, a welcoming place. Those stories gradually unfold, and whether it's around the workbench or having a coffee, people will sort of begin to share what's been really happening in their lives. I've had mild depression in the past, so understood what that felt like, but also understood that, creating and making is good for the soul. God, the creator, God, the maker, we can sort of discover that, in a practical way.
The task at hand today is a batch of leaf crosses for the leaving class of a local primary school.
Busy? What are you up to, Rob and Paul?
At the sanding station, I've an opportunity to hear about the impact this service can have from Paul.
Had you done carpentry before this?
Nothing like this.
So have you got better as you've come along here and started doing this?
Paul has been volunteering in the chapel in the Fields woodshop for about 2 years. It has been a lifeline after the passing of his wife, Sue, 3 years ago.
Thinking about what Sue was to you, she was your companion, and here you get some of that companionship with the people you're working with.
Well, they're new friends, so I think that's the most important thing I've made. Not the woodwork, but the friends.
Mm.
It's been somewhere where you can just come and talk, and you can talk about things like Sue.
Have you been able to talk about it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And show them some pictures. It's just something that's in the heart.
Yeah, of course. That's
Oh,
what
it's
it's
struggle. Yeah.
Yeah. I know. Well, I think your sanding's been brilliant. You were saying you hadn't done any carpentry since you were at school, but you've obviously got very good now in later years.
Really helps. You can see the project going forward and people being really happy with what they've got out of it.
Well, we're going to go from this